So today we're going to be making Swedish rye bread. This recipe was given to us out of Stephanie Prather's grandmother's cookbook. Stephanie is a senior right now. She's part of the class of 2019. So let's get started. You start by mixing 2 tablespoons of yeast, 3/4 cup of sugar, and 1 tablespoon of salt with 1 quart, which is 4 cups of warm or hot water just from the tap. Since I have one, I'm using this attachment, which is a bread hook. If it doesn't quite mix everything together right, then just put it back down and grab a whisk. Alright, so there we go. Then into this, you're going to add 1/2 cup of shortening and a 1/2 cup of dark molasses. And again, if your bread hook or whatever you're using doesn't quite mix everything together like you wanted to, just try that a little and grab a whisk if you need it. So just get that mixed up best you can, and then we're gonna start adding the flours. So in this bowl, there's 8 cups of bread flour and 4 cups of rye flour. So we're gonna bring this back up and just add this in gradually. And just like in any recipe, about halfway through you're gonna wanna take a spatula and scrape the sides. Alright, so there you have that. You're going to let this down and take your spatula and scrape everything off the hook and the sides and just hand mix everything together a bit more. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. It's still not quite mixed together, but that'll be solved in a moment. So now you're going to want to take your hands, washed, make sure, and just mix everything together with your hands. It should end up forming a thoroughly mixed, stiff dough. So I'm going to take this out of the bowl and sort of knead it a little bit. Make sure you do this on a floured surface. If your dough is like mine, you're probably going to have to re-flour the surface. Try not to use too much though, because it might end up changing the contents of your bread dough. Just enough so that it doesn't keep sticking to the counter. So now you've got one big, nice ball of your bread dough. You're gonna want to put this back in the bowl and cover it with saran wrap and let it sit to rise. Alright, so now that your dough is fully risen, you're gonna want to take off the plastic wrap and have all of your pans out and ready. You're going to take some spray, oil, or butter and just coat each of your pans. So the next piece is to split it into different loaves. So what I have here is 3 smaller loaf pans, and these 2 are going to be freestanding loaves. So you're going to take a piece of the dough, just stretch that off. You're going to end up making this just so that it almost fits in the pan, because it's going to still have to rise a little bit after this. Work it in your hands just a little bit, but not too much, so that it feels nice. Roll it into a nice small loaf and set it in your pan. And then since I'm doing the 2 that are on their own, I'm going to take this big chunk, work it together just a little bit since there's some flour on the bottom from in the pan. And now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to find the middle, pinch it, twist, and pull. Just like that. So they're a little bit different sizes, but that's fine. Set one here and just roll it, work it just a little bit into a nice loaf. Just set that right in the middle of your pan. Do the same thing with the second piece of dough. Beautiful. So there's all the things in their pans, and we're gonna, again, just let those rise just a little bit more until these are filled up in the pan, and these are just a little bit larger. One step that you can also try with these is putting slits in the top of one of your loaves. I'm gonna try it with this one and not with this one, and just see how they turn out differently. I'm also gonna do it on 2 of these smaller loaves to see if that makes any difference on them as well. You're gonna wanna put this in an oven preheated to 350 degrees for about 35 minutes. It should be a nice light brown color on the top. There you go. 2 beautiful loaves of delicious rye bread. This is the one that I had slit the top of. This is the one I didn't. In my opinion, this one just looks a little nicer, but they both, I'm sure, will taste amazing. I had a piece of this. Very good. This could be something like a family tradition, like it is for Steph and her family. It could just be something fun that you make because it's new and different, and you probably haven't made your own rye bread before. But I thought it was really good, and this is a great recipe for you to try at home with friends or family or just anybody.